YouTube, a beautiful place to waste your time or learn something new, or just have it on to maybe not feel lonely. A beautiful place where you can find anything and everything, from speedrun videos to perhaps landing on this one or maybe one of my other ones. YouTube is a beautiful place with a lot of great creators. It is not without its blemishes, and recently there's been a lot of inconsistencies on YouTube when enforcing its policies. Today is not covering the Quintin saga, but instead a different one. One that is honestly outrageous and perhaps one you may not know. This is the story of Summoning Salt. Summoning Salt is a creator here on YouTube, has 1.5 million subscribers, and covers the entire history of speedrunning in video games. These videos take a long time to make, with an upload schedule that seems to be maybe once a month to maybe once every couple of months, which makes sense. There is so much information to dive into. They are so fantastic. He puts them together so well, and his soundtracks of choice are just last month, he released a video, the entire world record history of Mega Man 2. 3 days later, he receives an email from YouTube saying that his video has been age restricted. Much like any YouTube creator, you instantly jump on Twitter at Team YouTube and say, hey, what's the big deal? What's going on? Please help me. My video is being limited in monetization. This is my job. Help me. Which makes sense. No creator comes on here and wants to try to break the terms of services, the policies, the X, the Y, the Z's. We're all just trying to make great content and just, you know, maybe earn a little something. Nobody goes to work expecting and has the ambition to do a bad job and break the rules. When you go to appeal a video that has been age restricted or demonetized, after that initial AI has flagged it, a person has to go in and review to see if the AI has correctly flagged this as inappropriate, or if it has been some sort of oopsies, and reinstate the video to be from the yellow to the green. With the case of this Mega Man 2 video, it is over an hour long. It is like a feature film, and it has been made like one. It's perfect, it's beautiful. But for Summoning Salt, the person had reviewed and kept the age restriction on in 35 minutes.
It just don't add up!
And so, as a disgruntled, upset creator, Summoning Salt continues on Twitter, adding Team YouTube, saying, why is this? And while this is all going on, he has done his own digging to think, okay, where could I have been flagged? Where could this vulgar language come from? And Summoning Salt thinks it's from a 6-second period where in the midst of a speedrun, the speedrunner says the F-bomb a few times and a quick little blip. And like my mom during tax season, Summoning Salt pulls out all the receipts, not only theorizing is it this spot right here, but pulling up YouTube's own vulgar policies to state that this makes no sense. How could this little blip in a video that is an hour and a half long constitute to an entire video being age restricted? And I should say at this point, YouTube has still not told Summoning Salt what portion of the video has ticked off the AI, which is also reaffirmed by a human review.
We don't know.
As the days go on, Summoning Salt continues to poke at YouTube every day, bringing up more and more facts about his video in comparison to the policies, trying to basically say that these don't make sense and a fundamental value, and I would like some answers. Wouldn't you want to know what you did wrong instead of just spinning your wheels thinking about what it could be and then trying to solve that problem yourself and then trying to show the person that, hey, I'm not a bad guy, this is a mistake, please, you gotta help me, and instead you're just Donowald talking to no one.
Acknowledge me.
After filling up YouTube's mentions by this point, they finally say that they hear him. They are looking into it. It's not just Summoning Salt that is adding Team YouTube, hitting them with all of this. It's still all of the people within the mentions, all of the people in the replies, the retweets, the quote tweets. YouTube is being bombarded by a salt pillar. Finally, Team YouTube comes back with some answers. They made a mistake. Straight up, we made a mistake. Frowny face. They reinstitute the video. They take off the age restriction. It seems like it should be cut dry. All good. But would you believe me if there was even more? Because there is. And it gets even more bizarre. From here, the next couple of days, if you look at Summoning Salt's Twitter, it's just comparing what should have happened with this video compared to what happened instead. And basically, that he's losing some revenue off of this video. And the fact that it is his full-time job, that is brutal to see that age restriction saga had impacted his profit. 8 days later, his video once again gets age restricted. Summoning Salt, having thought that this was already over, comes back at them on Twitter with more receipts, with more passion, with honestly more frustration and anger. This should have been settled. It should have been done. They said they messed up. They said, straight up, we made a mistake. Why is it age restricted again? We once again go back to turning our wheels. It's down to that 6-second clip where a bunch of F-bombs are dropped from a speedrunner in the midst of a run, showing again more of the policy, more of the receipts, more of, hey, we just went over all of this. Do you remember all of these things? Here is more of that information where 6 seconds and a big old video shouldn't lead to a video being age restricted. Hello. He also makes a video on his alt account about the saga that's happened with this Mega Man 2 video. And at the start, he says that he doesn't hate YouTube. And I think it's fair to acknowledge that even now, as this video is in a way critical of what's happened in the recent history of flagging things as being inappropriate or appropriate, and that no creator hates being on YouTube. If you're a creator on YouTube, you don't hate it here, because if you hated it here, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care if a video gets demonetized, age restricted. You probably wouldn't even be posting. You know, the thing that lies here is that there's a lot of passion for each creator that makes a video, that puts content on this platform. In the case of Summoning Salt, I can only imagine the hours of research, capturing all of the footage needed, getting the help to make sure it's all accurate, doing the voiceovers, editing it all together, making the thumbnail, SEO, description. That is a lot to put together. That is a lot of your time invested in and a lot of passion that goes into that. It is not a job that you do because you are hungry for the money. You do it because you have a passion to create. It's not boycott YouTube. It's, hey, this platform that I care about is doing something that I don't think lines up with the policies that are in place, with the rules that are in place. I know if I made a video and it got demonetized, I can't even get monetized, but if it got demonetized for something, I would be absolutely livid. Like, I don't try to make a video to intentionally break policies. No one does. Tangent aside, this video goes to explain basically everything that's been happening on Twitter for the past about week or so, explaining his stance on his video and why he thinks this isn't fair. Now remember, this whole time on this second go around of being age restricted, it's because he thinks it's for that 6-second F-bomb clip. But YouTube gets back to him, and instead the Mega Man 2 World Records video is going against YouTube's sex and nudity policy. You tell me, is that a little too much for you? Is it getting a little hot in here? From there, we jump to Twitter, more adding Team YouTube, more going, what is this? This makes no sense, to finally one final decision. The video is to remain age restricted from the senior members of YouTube that deem it has too much heavy profanity. Again, for that 6-second clip of a few F-bombs. So what does he do from here? Well, what I think every creator has at least done once in their life when a video gets stopped due to something out of their control, you private the main video and you re-upload again, and you hope to try to recoup a little bit. Since his first upload of the Mega Man video, it had been at about 1.5-ish million views before he decides to private it, or at least take it off and re-upload. Now, YouTube hates when you do that. They don't like to be tricked. And most of the time that second upload gets shortened in its own right. And right now it's sitting at over 500,000 views, which is still good. And maybe in total it would equal to what his usual performance is. But overall, disheartening. Could you imagine all the work being put into this? Not to mention all of the extra work that you have to do to basically stand up for your creation, to try to talk to someone, when for the most part, it seems like you're just yelling at the logo of YouTube. You're yelling at a wall and hoping that someone on the other side is listening and will maybe come out and help you. And you might be saying, well, this is just a weird one-off occasion. But around the same time that this happened, pointcrow had his own issues with demonetization over him eating water with chopsticks. The video is flagged and deemed not suitable for advertisers. He reaches out on Twitter to Team YouTube to say, hey, I followed the policies, has the same back and forth. An AI has flagged this video. He's looking to have it manually reviewed. And it seems to be reversed and back to normal. But literally at the time of recording this video, his video is flagged and demonetized again after they said this about the first time it was demonetized. And at this point, I have no idea what's going to happen, but it has very much hurt the performance of the video and has hurt, most likely, his income for the month. Both of them share one key factor, and that's that they have a community around them that when things like this happen, they can basically put them to use to have them rise up and keep adding Team YouTube and saying,
Hey, what is this?
And I have to think that for every summoning salt situation, for every pointcrow situation, there are dozens of small creators like myself, people that don't even have community tabs, let alone a presence on a lot of places or any place, that just get swept under the rug, that get limited or age restricted or stopped in some way. The YouTube algorithm from the YouTube overlords. And what are we supposed to do? I understand that going to Twitter and making a stink does work, but no creator should have to be in that position in the first place. A lot of creators are just one-man teams that do it all themselves, myself included. And I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, and I don't have the community that if I were to have a video get flagged and stopped after I worked so hard on it, to have YouTube reverse it. And for someone like me and other creators in general, when we get flagged and then we get manually restricted, what are we supposed to do? What's our solution to this? Really, this needs to be handled at the top. This needs to be something that YouTube has to fix on their own, because now this isn't just a one instance or a one niche or just a little blip. This is something that is seeming to be more common, something that seemed to start with the Corey Kenshin saga and is now popping up in other communities and other places. And clearly this is a problem within YouTube that it needs to be fixed. I don't have the answers. That's the bummer about the end of this video. I don't have the answers. I don't know what to tell you if you're a small creator and this happens to you. I don't know what to tell you if you're a big creator, because clearly it doesn't matter your size. Even if you're Markiplier, YouTube will find a way to show its power over you.